Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bed Tech Show, where your hosts, Ben and Ethan, discuss some awesome tech news at bedtime. We've got a great show for you all planned tonight, so let's go ahead and get started with our headline topic, YouTube's next big move. So, YouTube has secured NFL Sunday Ticket for the next 7 years. So they are going to be doing a 7-year contract with a $2 billion annual deal. So on Thursday, NFL announced that its Sunday Ticket subscription would go to Google's YouTube TV starting next season, and making its move from DirecTV over to YouTube TV. YouTube is going to be paying roughly $2 billion per year for the rights to Sunday Ticket, and they're going to have a couple of options with it. They're not only are they going to allow all non-network games, but they are also going to have a standalone a la carte option for YouTube Premium channels, which will allow you to have individual streaming services and channels for that. So I'm thinking maybe they will have like the ability just to subscribe to one team of your choice or select multiple teams. But this is a pretty big deal, finally getting rid of DirecTV and moving on to YouTube TV. I think this is pretty cool and seems like a bit of an evolution for NFL Sunday Ticket here.
Yeah, I think they're moving with the times. Really interesting to me how they're doing a modeling on it with multiple options. I mean, it not necessarily interesting, it's not surprising, but they're upcharging people if they want to pay for the specific games. They want more than just their local game, then they can pay this Sunday Ticket package, right? That's kind of my understanding. Or if they don't have YouTube TV, they can just pay only for the package, and that's it. They don't have to pay for the other part of the YouTube TV with all the other channels and et cetera, et cetera. This is a big win for YouTube, I think. $2 billion is a lot of money, though.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the revenue is on that. Let's see here. Yeah, I'd like to know what their revenue is, what they expect, how many viewers to watch. Let's see, how many subscribers.
Yeah, it'll be
Sunday.
Be pretty interesting. I mean, right now, it says that satellite TV provider now has approximately 13.5 million customers, which seems to be down considering that people have now been, for lack of a better term, cutting the cord and going with streaming options. What I find really interesting is that NFL didn't decide to do their own streaming service for this themselves. Why they chose to go out to Google or some other service to share those rights with, why they didn't just capitalize on their own streaming app, as it were, to have NFL Sunday Ticket.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, because I wonder, my initial thought is just hardware. They don't have hardware to do that. NFL doesn't have the hardware, but
that's a good point.
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know enough to know. Are the cameras owned by the stadium? Are they owned by NFL? Are they owned by the broadcaster? That's where because you make a valid point. NFL could be just like every other company that's doing media and entertainment and creating their own streaming service. Is it just too much of an investment for the NFL to go fully in the deep end with streaming on their own and paying for all the hardware and the cameraman? Or can they just why don't they partner with someone?
Yeah.
Maybe this is just I'm sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe this is just the the easiest option for them because,
It's got to be.
yeah, I didn't think, there would be a lot of overhead, you'd have to have server space, you'd have to have staff to be able to maintain this, and just to run your own app, and you'd have to have people supporting that app. So,
Yeah.
that this seems like it might be the easiest option and a win for all parties for them
Yeah.
not to do it in house, but to kind of share these rights
Yeah.
with Google.
Yeah. They have their analysts that they're performing different ROI analyses on what's going to happen. But like you said, that's a valid question. One day will NFL start having their own streaming service? Maybe we have some like American sports channel. Let's just NFL, NHL, NBA,
Yeah.
MLB. They all combine and like share in the profits. But you're right. It's probably just the easiest option. I'm sure also influence of who they're going with was a part of the analysis. YouTube TV is taking over
Oh
cable,
yeah,
right?
it
Direct
is.
TV, Dish, they're kind of
The,
in the past.
they're turning into DVDs of TV.
Yeah. Yeah. And YouTube TV, a lot of people like it. A lot of people using it. My in-laws use it. We use my in-laws account. And it's nice. It's nice having. And it's not the same cost as it's getting there though. I will say it's getting there. It's
Yeah,
getting up there.
it's
It
more
was
expensive
cheaper.
than I think it should be.
Agreed. And it initially was cheaper, and then they've increased pricing, as with everyone. Every
Yeah,
streamer or every streaming company has. But yeah, it's really interesting who the NFL chose. I mean, probably very strategic. But
yeah.
$2 billion is a lot of money. And you said there were about 13 million subscribers on Direct TV.
Satellite TV provider. So I assume, I think they're talking about DirecTV there. So, I mean, DirecTV was paying 1.5 billion annually since 1994. So
Yeah.
for the last 20 years, they've been doing that.
So I would assume, right, if you're doing an analysis on this, you say, all right, we're YouTube TV. We're going to pay $2 billion. And we're expecting probably percentage, maybe like 80% of the Direct TV people to come over. And then we have our own base of subscribers that probably jump on and add to it, right?
Right.
Because if I'm not Direct TV subscriber, I'm not paying for Sunday Ticket. But if I have YouTube TV and I hear this and I'm a big NFL fan, I'm like, oh man, I'll pay an extra $50, $80 a month, whatever it is. So I wonder if they're increasing their fan base, but just doing straight numbers, 2 billion divided by the 13.5 million, $150. You would have to charge each subscriber $150 for that's just to make it $2 billion. So they could charge that monthly if they want to make that 2 billion up in a month, or they can charge it annually, right? So it's just like how fast do they want their return on their investment? So really, that's not a lot you have to charge.
Yeah. I mean, considering that, DirecTV has been requiring $150 a month for Sunday Ticket anyway. For the last 20 years. So that technically wouldn't be unreasonable.
Yeah, I agree. And especially if YouTube TV is like, yeah, we're gonna charge that over the year, which they're not. They're charging monthly, right? Or was it annual or monthly that they were charging?
It was per month, 150 per month.
150 a month, bro.
Yeah, for 6 months essentially, because that's how long the season is. So I mean, you have to me that you have to love NFL football, to do that. I mean, I like NFL football. I don't know that I love it $150 per month much.
So. I'm with you on that. I'm like, I will watch local games, whatever's on TV, and then highlights.
Yeah.
That's what I'll watch.
Yeah.
But
And I
the
mean,
problem,
especially
oh,
like
go
if
ahead.
you live in an area where like say if you live in Washington, excuse me, you generally get you generally get those games anyway. Oh, pardon me.
You're
Yeah,
good.
you generally get those games every week anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Here's the other thing that's interesting. Okay. Um, Sunday night, that's only one night of football.
yes,
Now we have Monday night football and
and
Thursday night
Thursday night
football,
football.
and they are not on YouTube TV. So
No,
if you're the average, you're the not average, you're the NFL fan, and you love watching football. You have to pick and choose. You like, I would if I was into football, I'd say, all right, next season, what days? I would do my own analysis of like bang for buck,
right.
like where are the most games, Monday, Thursday, or Sunday? What's the price of that streaming service? How much is it per game? Am I gonna like, do I care about the teams and the schedules that are on the Sunday games or the Monday games or the Thursday games? Like, this is becoming more and more complicated because you have all these different services that are
I
providing
know.
different streaming of the football games. And if you're a big football fan, you want to see the football games you want. So do you have to pay for all of those packages? I mean, that's kind of frustrating, right? It's like, I don't, if I was a football fan, I'd be frustrated and say, I don't want to do this. I just want football. I just want football, you
Right.
know? And I think maybe this is the next step of streaming services. There's going to be a service that will eventually just be direct TV, but it'll be 100% customizable. Okay. So what that
Yes.
means is they partner with Apple, Disney, Amazon, Paramount, YouTube TV, all the streaming providers, and and they say, we come to our program, come to our streaming service. If you allow us to stream your services, whatever minute, however many minutes are streamed on your service, that's the percentage of revenue we'll give you. And me as a user, I can go to this website and say, I want every MLS game. I want every NHL game. I don't care about football, whatever. And I want to watch The Office. I want to watch Seinfeld, and I want to watch Ted Lasso. Boom, and I get my package, and I can watch it, right?
Mhm.
And the minutes that I pay that monthly, but then the minutes that, right, it's
Right.
broken out. The revenue is broken out by the minutes I watch of those streaming services. I think that's the next generation of streaming package. It's just going to get even more customizable. There's going to be a middleman though. There's, I think Fubo TV like has somewhat of that.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't think it's 100% there. I don't know if a service has 100% there because I think people are going to get sick of paying for all these services.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is going to be the next evolution because everybody hate. I mean, we came from big big cable box satellite where you have to you get you have to pick your package and you have to pay so much money. So we went to streaming, but now we have so many different streaming services that you're paying monthly to each of these things. And so I think, yeah, shifting to a service that where all of those can funnel in through. And I think Apple has tried to do this with their Apple TV box. Um, they have a they have what I would say a decent integration where you can log in with all of your streaming services, and they have an app that kind of curates all that content, and you can directly load the content from that one app. So there's only like one place that you go for
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah.
So I think Apple's kind of started to do that, but it really hasn't gotten to that level that everyone needs and
Yeah.
customers want at this point. So yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I think that shift will happen eventually, and I hope it is sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Because I think companies are going to realize, we're not maximizing viewership because if I was Disney and I was a C-suite, I'd probably realize we're not maximizing our potential viewership because people are having to pick and choose where they spend their money. They can't afford everyone's package. And so if I were to say, oh, I I either get like direct revenue from people that pay for my streaming service, and I don't participate in partial revenue of this streaming middleman that is a collective, or I could potentially have additional viewership and get partial revenue from this conglomerate, you know, accumulated streaming service, right? It's just an opportunity for these streaming services to get additional revenue. It may not necessarily be significant. It's not direct revenue. It's not direct signups to their streaming service, but it's additional revenue, and
Right.
their reach can go farther. So I don't know. I think that's the next option. That or pirating is going to get bigger.
Yes.
Like I'm saying all this in my mind, I'm like, pirating sounds really good right now. Now that I'm thinking, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm just thinking about it. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
that's not a crime to think about
yeah, exactly. It's not a
it.
crime to think about it. No, but it is kind of getting kind of ridiculous. YouTube, YouTube TV is, I think, getting bigger, but I think about the history of this stuff. Netflix, like 5 to 10 years ago, was prime time.
Oh yeah. And
It was,
now they're struggling.
yeah. They had all the new movies on there. They had all the good shows on there. Like Netflix was it 10 years ago, man.
Yeah. And then Disney came in with their service that stole a lot of their content.
Yep.
And
And then everyone followed suit.
yeah. I mean, I think Hulu's done a good job of evolving and becoming better. I mean, they've partnered with Disney. They have that bundle. I mean, HBO Max, that they're out now with their stuff, and they have pretty decent content. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's everybody's just creating their own, and I think that's what's been hurting Netflix the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. Like like I said, everyone they have to pick and choose.
Right.
And now 2023, Netflix is cracking down on password sharing.
Oh yeah. The I mean,
Get out of here.
that's the whole point of Netflix is stealing somebody else's account, and
I know. Like, why allow multiple profiles
I
if
know
you don't want people to share it?
exactly.
It's
So
the dumbest thing. It's like they're gonna lock down on IP addresses, and it's so dumb. It's like, oh, so I can't like go to an Airbnb and log into my own
yeah,
Netflix account
I
because
know.
it's a different IP address.
Have to start using VPNs. Try and circumvent that, but I'm pretty sure
Pirating,
they've thought about it.
saying pirating,
Yes,
but I'm thinking
that
about it.
that
Thinking
seems
about
like a
it.
viable option right now.
Just I've paid my dues, Ethan. They owe it
Yeah,
to me.
yes, they owe it to us for
They
sure.
have the servers running. They have the shows there. Me going on a pirated way and getting this is not stealing any money from them. It's all sunk costs. It's all sunk costs. That's how I
Awesome.
justify it.
I like it. Justification
Justification.
makes the world better.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Just thinking about it.
Uh, well, speaking of what people thought about, looks like Tesla has finally done something that Apple could not do. So, Tesla has unveiled their $300 wireless charger that uses coils from the company called Free Power. They opened up pre-orders for this wireless charging mat that can accommodate up to 3 devices placed however you want. And then it comes in a form factor inspired by angular design of the Cybertruck. And it is going to be about $300. It is a hefty price for a wireless charger. However, for many people that have multiple devices, this seems like a very good option. It does have a whopping 30 Qi charging coils to charge your device, and no matter what orientation it is, where it is on the platform. And it uses the free power technology that I have seen in other devices and how it works. And kind of is competing with Apple's AirPower that they announced a couple years ago. Seemed to be the wave of the future, and then they just scrapped the project. So pretty interesting that Tesla is coming out with this now. What are your thoughts, Ben?
Yeah, initially I forgot about the mat that Apple touted, and it pisses me off that they just didn't do anything with it. Um, but I like this idea. I think I've seen not a demo, but um, like kind of like a what do you call it? Concept video. Like a concept video of this happening where someone pulls into their garage. There's like a black mat on the floor. They pull into their car with their Tesla, and then it starts charging as it's just sitting on top of the mat. So that's it. That's what this is, right? That's what they're touting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Um, so I mean, I think it's very convenient. People will start embedding these into their garage floors. Um, I think it's kind of cool. Is this only for phone charging? This is for
Yeah.
cars, though, right?
No,
Or
this
is
is for phone charging.
got it?
Yeah, so
Got it.
just your devices, and it can hold up to three. So it's got like the two phones there and your um, AirPods as well.
Yeah, I like this. I like it a lot. Um,
And this isn't really a novel idea. Um, Nomad, who's a company that makes, in my
I
opinion,
like Nomad a
yeah,
lot.
they make
I
high
love
quality
Nomad.
products.
Yeah.
They made their base station Pro, which had the same technology. I have one of those. It worked really well with like the iPhone, I think 12 or 11. And
Uh-huh.
then Apple came out with their MagSafe design, and that kind of destroyed working with this Nomad Base Station Pro. The charging was really limited, and it would essentially just overheat your phone without charging it. And
Dang.
and it became kind of useless just because of the way that Apple designed their MagSafe
MagSafe.
in their iPhones.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of curious as to how this will deal with MagSafe and whether it's going to be just as compatible, or if it'll be similar to how the Nomad base station was.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm excited for this though. I mean, if it's fairly priced, I could see myself buying it. I like that idea of a very simple, easy, just set down, set it and forget it kind of idea.
Yeah.
Like I said, I saw I want to say I saw a video a while ago of a charging mat, but for your vehicle, your EV, where you just
Yeah.
roll on top of it.
Yeah. I've seen that concept too. And I really want that because
That would be sick. Yeah. I
it,
wonder if this is like a precursor to that, you know, but maybe not.
yeah. I mean, it would be really interesting. And I
Technology.
mean, if we could get that, then, if they want really the wave of EVs to go forward, having your car charge as you're driving on the freeway, just as you're driving and charging, that would that would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Have you seen the concept of the roads that are made out of um they're made out of like essentially plastic, but then they have solar panels on the side on the curbs. No,
Oh
maybe
no
they
way.
are. I think they're made out of solar panels themselves, and it's like very hard plastic, and the entire road is made out of these panels. And when the vehicles go over it, the kinetic energy, it absorbs the kinetic energy and then also absorbs the sunlight energy.
Oh,
And when it snows and it's icy out, it'll melt the snow and the ice because they'll heat up. And then also it'll when during like this the non-winter seasons, it pumps the energy back to the power grids and they can store it in batteries, supposedly. That's the
hmm.
theory behind it. Granted, it's very expensive. I want to see if I can find it. Solar panel roads. That's what I'm going to Google right now. Solar roadways. Let's see if this is it. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Let me share my screen here. Pretty cool. All right, solar roadways. Um, yeah. So they have like this pretty cool idea where it's like these solar panels on the road, right?
Oh, that's pretty
And
cool.
so this is like the idea behind it. Solar freaking roadways. So yeah, it's like it's this like very hard plastic, what, and you put it on the road. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it creates electricity, you know, it could light up if an animal's crossing. And the idea here is like pumps the energy back to the grid. Um, anyway, pretty sick idea, right? Pretty
Yeah,
interesting idea.
that is pretty sick.
Just it's a lot more expensive than just asphalt. Yeah. So
Yeah.
don't know if
But I
it'll
mean, at
actually
least
happen.
that's some major innovation in something that really hasn't evolved
Yeah, and I
much
think
over these.
go yeah, I agree. Roads haven't evolved for hundreds of years. And I think going going to um your comment, if they do have electricity or any kind of ability to charge vehicles, they could have essentially these solar panel roads on the sides and in the middle, and then there's like thick strips where you put your tires on if you want to charge.
Mhm.
You just drive on those sections of the road to charge your vehicle, which is like, let's just say it's just like the average place that people drive, right? Just like
Right.
they have a thick portion where your two tires go. I don't know. I think that'd be cool. Or maybe it's the center, and so like you have like your sensor underneath the center of your car. And it's picking up all the electrics. Here's the road, and
Right.
you're driving over it, right? I don't know. It'd be sick.
Yeah, that'd be extremely nice. And that would solve a lot of the range anxiety that comes with electric vehicles.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
all right.
Yeah, it's not cheap. So
Yeah, that that'd be super expensive. Maybe our tax dollars would actually be going to something. That that's a discussion for another day.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Speaking of another day, looks like the iPhone 14 was faced with some unprecedented setback, leading to the removal of a new graphics processor.
Oof.
So, the information claimed that Apple engineers were too ambitious in adding new features to the graphics processor designed for the iPhone 14 Pro, including things like ray tracing. Ooh, that's kind of a buzzword there. And a lighting technique to achieve further level of realism in games. This meant that the iPhone 14 prototype was found to draw more power than expected, impacting the device's battery life and thermal management. So, with our lineup of iPhone 14 Pros, looks like the GPU is not as powerful as it could have been. And meaning that it really was just a minor upgrade from the previous year's model, and probably why they were focusing so much on the cameras rather than anything else during their keynote.
Yeah. Look, I've been saying this for years about Apple. There's just no innovation there anymore.
Yeah.
Everything we get is just like a different size, bigger screen, smaller screen, bigger camera, better camera, longer battery, bigger battery. Oh, rounder edges instead of square edges instead of round edges.
Oh, yes.
Like, I don't care about that. You're not innovating. You're giving me the same thing, just a better version of it.
Right.
Which I don't have a problem with. Like, I really do enjoy the easy user experience on an iPhone, and I love the reliability of the iPhone. which is why I'm an iPhone user. Also, their ecosystem is very nice. Everything works so good together.
Mhm.
That's why my handhelds are Apple. Um, but yeah, just I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised by the fact that Apple's iPhone 14 it's really just a newer version of the iPhone 13.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a different phone. It's the same, just some upgrades.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, with generational upgrades, you really hope that there would be a significant increase in power. And I think that's what they were trying to achieve with their prototype. However, with it, you know, when you have so much GPU power, that does increase power draw. And a lot of people dislike when they have less battery life. I mean,
Yeah,
I do too. I want the most battery life, but I also want the most power. So I can't really have my cake and eat it too in that instance. So um
yeah.
but
I also think going along with that is I don't think the average user can recognize power differences. I don't think the average user utilizes power or needs major power boosts. I think the average user uses their phone for regular stuff, boring stuff,
mhm,
No one's really doing gaming with ray tracing or more realistic graphics. People have PCs and consoles for that. For those who even want to get into that, right?
right,
And so they're probably thinking, what does the average user value more? Longer battery or more power? It's more majority of
shorty.
people are going to recognize their battery draining faster.
Oh yeah.
And so they probably want to solve that problem first. So I can understand why they prioritize that over GPU and power.
Yeah, for sure. Cause I mean, everybody's gonna notice power or I mean notice the battery life in the
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
Every single user will. But yeah, to your point as well, not everybody's gonna notice GPU power or ray tracing. Um, and you know, maybe the majority aren't even playing games on their phone. I know for me, I rarely play games on my phone. I mostly use it for work and photos and video.
Same.
So
Social media. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. You know, sitting on the toilet watching TikTok videos.
That's me. That's so bad. It's so bad. I get so distracted. My wife will have to come check on me. You okay in there? I'm like, I'm good, but my legs are asleep.
I mean, you know, it's usually that's like the best place because I mean nobody wants to bother you in the bathroom, so it's a good place to have some quiet time.
100%. 100%. I agree with that.
So we used to read the newspaper. Now we're watching TikTok videos.
Yep.
All right, looks like Apple is has some problems with discrimination. So they're being sued over alleged ineffectiveness of the Apple Watch's blood oxygen reader on people of color. So Apple is facing another federal class action lawsuit with claims that the blood oxygen reader in the Apple Watch yields inaccurate results for people of color. And, you know, the blood oxygen sensor came out during the pandemic. The FDA recently initiated a review of the technology with the goal of offering recommendations to make it effective for all skin types. And their review resulted in the pulse oximeters are inaccurate in people with darker skin, studies suggest, and the FDA is reviewing. I find this very interesting.
Me too. I I I feel like this would be a major a major factor in putting this to market.
Oh yeah.
Before going to market, I'd want to make sure this is cleared up. Um, because I guess later in the article it talks about how um that on like that the blood oxygen reading, it is impacted by permanent or temporary changes to the skin, such as tattoos. And so like some ink could block the light sensor
Hmm.
on the blood oxygen. And if they know about that, then like there are many different skin tones and some are very dark.
Hmm.
And if there's any potential of the light and the blood oxygen reader being impacted by that, I would want to make sure with like pretty solid experimentation and testing and verification that we have a product that is good to go for anyone, 99% of the individuals who use it.
Yeah.
Right. It just blows my mind that they just wanted to pump this out super quick. And
And this technology has been out for like the last couple of years, like the last couple of generations on the Apple Watch.
yeah, yeah, it's not it's not new. It's not brand new. So to think that it's been around for that long and there hasn't been any updates or additional, I don't know, procedures to prevent or enhance it, maybe prevent inaccuracies, enhance the capability. Kind of interesting. I don't know if this is surprising to me. I mean, like I said, innovation, not top tier from Apple anymore, more of a money grab.
Hmm.
So they're pumping out feature sets as much as possible. And I don't know how big of a deal it is. I don't know what the percentage here is of the inaccuracy. Like of a
Yeah.
sample size, what's that? What do the statistics look like? That'd be something I'd be interested in.
Yeah,
What
I mean, I'm not
result
sure either. I do know that my use of it has been really spotty.
has it
Uh,
really?
yeah, I mean, my skin's not super dark.
No.
However, I have noticed like I can take my reading at one time of the day and then do a reading immediately after, and it is significantly different.
Oh my gosh, that's not good.
And like after I've
That's
taken
really
like
weird.
really deep breaths, enough that for normally that would bring my blood oxygen level up to 100%.
Yeah, you'd
It
load it
does,
up.
yeah, it doesn't say that it's at 100%.
Dude,
So,
that's crazy.
yeah, like reading that, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And I've kind of seen my use case of it be pretty spotty as well. So, I mean, after I played around with it the first time that I got it on one of my Apple Watches, I haven't really messed around with it since then.
Hmm.
Hasn't
Yeah,
really been
that's
worth
so
it.
interesting. I have the SE, the Apple Watch SE,
Mhm.
which I think is like came out sixth generation. Anyway, it doesn't have the blood oxygen reader. So um I've never touched it. I've never messed with it. I have no idea how good it is normally. Because I'm pretty white, like a pretty fair skin. I'm not super fair, but I'm not tan either. Um, so I'd be interested to see how it works for the normal person.
Yeah.
But regardless, I don't know. I it maybe that we're making a bigger deal of this than it should be, but I feel as though you should make sure your features that you release, that you tout,
Mhm.
should be applicable and accurate for everyone. Right?
Yeah.
Fair use, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially like people that purchased it. I don't know if anyone really purchased it just specifically for the blood oxygen sensor. I mean, if somebody's really curious about that, they would get a dedicated device, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
But, you know, me buying it thinking, oh, this is a cool feature and not being able to utilize that feature, I'm I'm paying the same amount for somebody who's able to completely utilize that feature on the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is definitely the definition of discrimination.
Yeah.
So
Whether they intended it or not, it is,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and there doesn't need to be any intent with discrimination.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yes.
It's discriminatory. Your
Yeah.
light doesn't work. Your
I
blood
mean,
oxygen doesn't work.
Yeah. And since, you know, ethnicity and is a protected class, there you go.
Dude, you should get some money for this, Ethan.
I know. I might join the class action. So,
I would,
so I'm
if
gonna
I were
look
you.
into that. So I'll let you all know how that goes.
Just updated.
Uh, all right. Looks like there is some interesting things going on with Roblox here.
Oh,
Roblox has a criminal underworld where kids are scamming kids.
dude, this is wild. Okay. Um, and this isn't new, but IGN posted an article where they interviewed someone who's a scammer. And okay, so I've never played Roblox, so I can't say I know the ins and outs of it. But I know a little bit about Minecraft, and I had friends growing up that played RuneScape, and I believe it's very similar. Okay, and I had buddies who had profiles on RuneScape that had tons of gear, and their inventory was like fully loaded with good stuff, and they said they could sell it on eBay for like thousands of dollars. So they claimed.
Wow.
I don't know if they ever did, but so here's the deal. Okay. In Roblox, there's currency, as with a lot of games these days. And in Roblox, you can work and grind in the game to earn the currency, or you can pay real money for that currency. You can trade that in game currency for items that are rare. Okay. So there are items that have, they're limited in number and time that they're available. Okay. So just like certain items in Fortnite store, special edition,
Mhm.
but the game is different than, battle royale game. So like this is like it's like a universe, right? It's what Facebook's trying to do with metaverse. This is a place where people can log in, they have their person, they have their profile, they can walk around, they can chat, they can barter, you can trade things, you can trade items for other items, etc. So there are kids on here. There's even Discord channels that they're a part of where they flex their they flex their scams, and they call it getting beamed. Okay,
Oh dear.
so scroll down in the article here. I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't laugh at this, but there's a quote here where the kid's like, "Hey, like, you took my gear," and the other guy's like, "Yeah, get beamed, sucker," something like that. It's like it's really bad that I'm laughing at it, but at the same time, there's like it's like 13-year-old. He's making like he's stealing people's gear and stuff and like scamming kids who don't know about their gear or whatever. He's getting it and then he's selling it. He's selling it to people. And there's other platforms where these platforms they'll be essentially middlemen, people who are in Roblox who have like tons of good gear, you know, let's say you have 5 items of very rare gear, a rare shield, a rare sword,
Mhm.
a rare axe, whatever it might be. And it's like worth, thousands of in-game thousands of in-game currency. And in the real world, it would be equivalent to a couple grand of dollars, right? Well, I, I don't want to keep this in here. I want to sell it to someone who finds it actually more valuable than me.
Right.
So what these people in Roblox do, they go to these middlemen who have a platform and they say, I want to sell my gear for X amount of dollars. And people in the real world who want the gear in Roblox but can't find a way to get it, they go to these middlemen, right? And there's a deal that happens. There's a swap, real dollars for the gear. So these teenagers, they're just beaming these punk kids, right? These other kids, right? They're just scamming them, and they're taking their gear. They're finding out personal information about them. They're even getting like credit card information from the game hack that they're
Oh
able to
dear.
do. And this 13-year-old that they were interviewing, he even got the article writer even got on a voice chat, like a voice audio chat with the kid to verify his 13-year-old age.
Wow.
prepubescent voice, talking about his scamming and his beaming of the kids and
Oh
everything.
dear.
$2,000 a month, man. He's making $2,000 a month just stealing Roblox gear and
Uh,
selling it.
wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah,
I,
just wild.
I mean, it's interesting because like not a lot of parents know about Roblox or understand what it is.
That's
And
me. That's me, dude. I'm one of
yeah, I'm kind of the same way too. I mean, like I've seen a little bit about it on YouTube, but I know like kids go onto it. They say, "Hey, I'm just gonna go play Roblox," and parents are like, "Okay," and kids can play these violent A video games, and I mean, no one would ever know. And so, I mean, with this as well, I've seen where you can go on there and mine crypto and have like cryptocurrencies in there and then use that to buy other Roblox things. And it's kind of stupid. I mean, you should have just invested your money in actual cryptocurrency or something else. But
Yeah. You should have invested in FTX. What are you
yeah,
doing?
yes. Uh, so I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
it,
crazy.
yeah, and it's sad that kids who are involved in this who don't really have um the know-how of what's going on, and then they get involved in this. So it's pretty sad.
Yeah, it is. It is kind of sad. Like I said, my friends played RuneScape, which I think is very similar to Roblox, and my friends they would always brag to me growing up of like all the gear they had, which they could sell on eBay for a certain price, right? But what's happening here is that these kids they're cracking the these players' profiles. They're hacking their profile, getting in their profile, changing all their information, like their passwords and everything, and then they're trading all the gear of that person's profile to their personal person in game. And then once their personal person has in game, they ditch the hacked profile. They say screw it, whatever, and then they can sell all their stuff, right?
Right.
Um, and apparently, it's like a very popular thing. Like I said, there's Discord channels here of kids talking about it, flexing their scams and everything, which is really sad. Like you said,
Yeah.
I know I laughed. I just laughed at like this. I laugh at the interaction that these kids have because they are kids, right? They're kids.
Mhm.
It's funny. It's funny how they're just like, hey, did you just try to scam me? And the other guy's like, yeah, get bean, sucker.
Get
It's like,
beams.
oh my gosh, what a punk, dude. What a punk.
uh,
But they're making serious money stealing from these
yeah.
kids. And that's the crazy thing. It's kind of sad, it is sad. So
Yeah.
I don't know if Roblox is. I don't know how they're going to address it and whatnot. But it's one last thing I'll say is it's funny you mentioned that parents don't know anything about it because the person in the interview says he's like, yeah, I spend my money that I make. It's $2,000, £2,000 a week, not a month. It's a week, dude. So he's making £8,000 a month, which is crazy. And he like buys and his friend's stuff, and he's like, yeah, dude, I bought myself a PC with a GeForce RTX 3090. And he's like, my parents asked where I got it, and I just make up stuff and they believe me, like, no problem. It's
Oh
like,
geez.
dude, if my kid had like a new PC in his room, I'm definitely gonna try and figure like I'm definitely gonna understand where he got that from.
Yeah. I would do some investigation for that.
Yeah, it's not just like, oh, where'd you get that? He's like, oh, internet. I did some work for Joey, and he gave me some money to buy it. Like, what work did you do to buy a PC? Like,
Yeah.
I know you. You're not like cleaning his room, and then he gives you a PC. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
crazy stuff.
I really hope that, Roblox does do something to address this and fix this because I mean this is just sad that it's coming to the point where children are being scammed out of all this and other kids getting away with it. So,
Yeah, yeah, and it's not new. Again,
no, this has been going on for quite some time.
yeah, and last year there was like there's like two YouTube videos, essentially documentary style about this that were released. I haven't watched them. I didn't know about them at the time of release. I only know about this because of the article I read on IGN, but I probably will watch it this weekend because it's so interesting.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to take a look at it too, because this is pretty interesting when I saw this come through.
Yeah.
But
Just more emphasis for us to protect our kids, you know.
yes. Just make sure you're in your kids' lives. I mean, that's kind of like the big step. You're involved with what they're doing and know what they're doing. So
100%, especially when they're doing online stuff.
yeah.
Right. I mean, you and I are both based in Utah. There was a kidnapping. A 13-year-old was groomed and he was kidnapped literally this last week.
Right.
And it was because someone groomed him online. I don't know which game it was, but they communicated over this game, and the kid was convinced to run away with the guy. It's
Yeah.
really sad.
That is sad. And I mean, thinking about it, like, when I was growing up, Xbox Live was just becoming a thing. Online gaming was starting up kind of like in my later teen years. And now it's at the point where, anybody can get on, anybody can do it, and could get lost in that world, essentially.
Yep.
So,
Definitely.
yeah. It's sad that this is going on, and hope that something positive comes out of this experience. Sure.
Agreed.
All righty. Well, that's the show that we have for everyone tonight. Thank you all for sticking with us and supporting our channel. We really do appreciate everyone that does listen to our opinions, and we really hope that we've provided some good value and entertainment for each of you. So if you like this video, please make sure you liked it. And if you disliked it, that other button seems to do all right as well. But make sure you send it to somebody you disliked. Get them to watch our videos. As well, ring-a-ling that ding-a-ling button so you are notified of new content that is posted to the channel. I believe this week we are going to get started with sending out some shorter clips of the show. So stay on the lookout for that. Those should be coming out next week with clips of the show, and you'll get to see some shorter content as well. Thanks again for your support, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Stay classy.
Peace.